I keep telling you that you need a personal website. Maybe today's guest can convince you why. Are you ready? Let's go! Hey everybody, Ryan Roten here, and this is the Brand New You podcast, where we explore how to use personal branding and social media to impact your career. No need to look any further. You found the podcast dedicated to helping you create a brand new you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Brand New You Show. I'm Ryan, your host, and today we welcome to the show Nick Macario, founder and CEO of brandedme. Nick has over 8 years of entrepreneurial experience with hands-on training and real-life wins and losses. He has built multiple successful companies from the ground up, some of which are still operating and growing today. His latest company, brandedme, is a new personal brand platform that just might be the fastest and easiest way for professionals to create completely customizable personal websites. Branded.me empowers individuals of all ages and skill levels to take control of their personal brands by building a personal website in minutes. Nick, welcome to the show.
Ryan, how you doing? Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
No problem. Thank you very much for agreeing to be on. I always start the show off with a question that everybody wants to know the answer to, which is, if you could vacation in only one spot for the rest of your vacation days, where would you go and why?
I'd probably have to say France. I can't tell you exactly where in France because there's a few places I'd like to be, but maybe Nice on the beach because it's amazing.
Okay, and have you been to France before?
I've been to France once before, yes.
All right, so when you go to France this next time or for the rest of your vacation days and you're going to take a book with you to read, which nonfiction book would you take with you that you're either reading now or would want to read?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer for you off the top of my head. I'm more of an article guy, to be honest. I stay pretty active with articles, but I'm not a huge book guy, to be honest.
Okay, no problem. Dive right into the questions. I mentioned briefly your new company, branded.me, and I gave a little bit of a kind of a marketing spiel as to what it is, but I'd like to hear directly from the founder. What is branded.me?
To make it quick and simple, it's personal websites. It's the easiest and quickest way to create personal websites. And we automate the process by pulling information from your LinkedIn profile and generating a fully customizable website in a matter of seconds. So with a couple clicks, we pull all the content from your profile, your LinkedIn profile, generate a fully complete website, which is fully customizable, with easy drag and drop technology. Or, you could just choose to a couple clicks and go live in a few seconds as well.
Okay. So why did you create branded.me? What was the reasoning behind it? What was your thought process?
I created branded.me because it's actually interesting. So my previous startup I was working on, I was looking to build a website for myself, a personal website about myself. And at the time, I was doing it for a couple of reasons. One, the main reason was to increase my online presence. But the reason I was trying to do that is I was trying to recruit. I was working on recruiting, high-level talent to join my team. I was also working on raising some money. So when people came to Google and searched me online, I wanted to have a strong presence and make a statement and make them confident, in either investing in me or joining my team. So at the time, I had researched some various options. Like my previous product was a website builder as well. So in a similar space, and I was aware of what was out there. And so the website builder solutions that are out there, there's some that are great. There's Wix, Weebly, Squarespace. There's a lot of really good website builders, but those aren't really tailored for personal use. Sure, you could build a personal website on them, but they're not really built for personal use. If you look at their themes, and even if they do have some decent themes, which in my opinion, they don't really line up well with personal use, even if they do, they take some time to adjust to and get to know and to build a site. And then, of course, you can always hire a designer, which to me takes just as long, if not longer in some cases, all the back and forth, and it's costly as well. There's a few different options for getting sites, but I was looking for something quick and easy and something high quality, most important of all. And I just couldn't find the solution. So at the time I was so busy, I didn't even create a website myself. And one thing led to another, and we came to a point in my previous company where we saw an opportunity and no one was really doing it. And we kind of made a decision to switch our focus and started working on Branded Me just over 7 months ago.
Yeah, I remember. Well, what's funny is I don't remember when you started it, but I remember you doing, we'll call it voice of customer, within LinkedIn, because you were on one of the personal brand groups, and you had posted a question, about what platform should you use if you were going to create one, and I went in and answered it. I think you made a comment to it, and then I didn't hear anything back. And then the next thing I see is a post from you 7 months later saying, "Hey, I created a brand new platform. Check it out." So were you being very strategic when you placed that question in LinkedIn asking about personal brand websites?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing, to be honest. I mean, we were, pondering the idea and getting really serious about pulling the trigger. And I was doing a little market research, and I wanted to talk to people who had websites and get their feedback and make sure there wasn't any solutions I wasn't currently aware of. And I did get some good answers in that post in Dan's forum, the personal branding network. So that was definitely helpful. That's interesting. You remember? That's awesome.
Yeah. So speaking of doing your research, you also co-conducted a survey with the .me registry. And you found that 61% of those surveyed say they've received a job offer because of their personal blog or website. When you talk to people about that, what did they say was one of the main reasons they received that offer? I mean, was it something that content they were putting on their blog, or just the fact that they had one?
It was, so I didn't get a chance to speak to everybody individually because we surveyed, we went through over 15,000 people to get to 600 individuals who had a personal website. That's how many people we actually, so we teamed up with the .me registry and co-produced this first of its kind research. And we went through a company called GMI, which they do this, this is what they do, is put together surveys like this. So what we did was put together a really thorough set of questions and try to get as much feedback as we can. But essentially there was many different answers. It was essentially just having a website or blog, though, resulted in them, receiving either a job offer or professional advancement. So the idea was that, I know myself personally that personal websites have benefits, and there's reason I've talked to people and heard their stories individually, but I wanted to prove it. And that's kind of what we did with that research. And we're actually probably planning on doing some more follow-up research in the coming months as well. But that was the purpose behind that, is like I wanted to actually validate that people were receiving tangible benefits from personal websites.
I'm a big believer in everybody should have their own website. And what I found interesting about the survey that you conducted was that only 4% of the people, of the 600 that you surveyed, actually have a website. Why do you think more people don't have one?
I'm sure there's a lot of reasons, but the main ones are probably the issues that we're talking about, and the things that were preventing me. And it could just not, it could be awareness too. Like a lot of people, may not either be aware or may not think that they need a personal website or they could benefit from one. There's still people adopting LinkedIn, which is crazy to think about, that people don't use LinkedIn still, but there's still people adopting the LinkedIn to this day. So it could be that, it's a product and market that's evolving as we go. And to me, it is obviously, is that like, I think the general public needs a little time to adopt, aside from the fact that even if you do want a personal site, before we created Branded Me, it was fairly difficult or time consuming to achieve.
Let's say somebody makes the leap and they go, you know what, I agree, I'm going to need to have a website of some kind. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but what do you recommend to those people that they should have on their website?
It really depends on, what industry they're in. But for the most part, our websites appeal to everyone. So I like it's very similar to LinkedIn content. But I want it to be my personal site to be a little bit more visual and to include a little bit more content than LinkedIn as well, to go a little bit deeper. So with LinkedIn, you can list some projects, but with an actual website, you could really emphasize those projects and create some cool animations too. Like I don't know if you've tested the various themes that we use, but for me, I tell everyone to,
of course.
Yeah, I know you have actually, because I've seen your site. For me, projects is a big one. I like people to emphasize projects, whether it's, a design project they worked on, a development project they worked on, a group project, just in their organization, whatever it is. I like projects personally because it's a really cool visual example of kind of, and shows some actual examples of what these people have worked on instead of just the general work experience. And then obviously like the bio is a big one too. So the bio to me, not only talks about someone's history and story, but then goes a little deeper and shows personality as well, which is important, and talking to hiring managers, like, sure, hiring managers are interested in experience and making sure you're qualified, but a lot of them also want to make sure that it's a cultural fit, right? That you could fit their organization and come right in and be productive.
I actually have a question that came in from one of my listeners, Irene, and she tried out your platform. She likes it as well, but she was curious about, a personal brand landing page type website versus a traditional website. Do you think people even notice the difference between the two, and or would they have the same perception?
So, I mean, it really depends what you consider like a landing page or a website, right? So what we do is a single page site, but the amount of content you could put on there, you can have on a full-fledged 5, 10, 20-page website, right? It just depends on the amount of content that you want there. So, these sites to me are complete website. It's not just a landing page, but others may view it differently.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it gives you all the information that you would see on other websites, with the exception of maybe you don't have email signups and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, and I understand too, there's obviously features that are going to be rolling out over the next weeks and months. So some things that you think of right now that you might not see, they could either be being designed or built right now. They could be released a week from now or a month or two from now. But we're definitely pretty active in our roadmap with rolling out new features.
Yeah, yes, you are. I've noticed already within the last, since last week, you've already rolled out several new features on the site, and I'll talk a little. You've basically rendered my video old now. I'm gonna have to go back and redo it because you've added so much stuff in the last week. I'm curious, what made you decide to use LinkedIn as kind of the backbone for pulling information and getting the site up and running?
Yeah, good question. There's a couple of reasons. So one is we wanted a clear identity. There's other services out there like About Me, which is very general and broad, and it's a great product. It's just a different product in my mind. Like people say, "Oh, what's different than About Me?" And to me, it's much different. There's website builders. Like we wanted a very clear identity, and we know our target market, and that's professionals. So LinkedIn made perfect sense. That aside with the fact that LinkedIn, when someone has a fully completed profile, that really translates well into the conversion that we use, which is converting all that content to a website. The more complete a LinkedIn profile is, the more complete someone's website is with a couple clicks of a button. So it was a natural fit.
Yeah, it's like I said in the video and in my review, and I'll put show note links to the different videos and things that we talk about here. But I really like the way it looks. To me, it's very slick. It looks professional. I like the way you can, you've got 3 different styles that you can choose from. I personally lean towards the first style or the first theme, just because I like that kind of clean look. But there's, say somebody who likes Pinterest, you've got a board, kind of a Pinterest looking board that people might enjoy. Fully customizable, all different kinds of colors. You can make it light, dark, add experience, take experience away. I mean, I think for 7 months worth of work, I think you've done an incredible job. So kudos to you and your team for that at this point.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We definitely put in a lot of time and went back and forth with a lot of different changes and iterations before we put it out, but we're confident in the first version we put out. And that said, we're working on version 2 right now, which, we think is 2 to 3 times better. And I think you're going to like it.
Okay, so speaking of version 2, I was going to ask you one question. When I pull over all of my information from LinkedIn, if I change and update LinkedIn, will my branded me site automatically update as well? Or do I need to log into that site and update it?
So as of right now, it doesn't. And that's probably one of the most common requests we get. We get that multiple times a day, is the same question. So people are creating their site on Branded Me, and they're realizing, there's some things they want to update in LinkedIn. So they go back to LinkedIn, make the changes in LinkedIn, and want that to reflect in their personal website. So it's definitely on the roadmap. I mean, like we're actually coming out a feature probably within the next 3 to 5 days that's going to handle your situation, and it's not going to auto detect it and make those changes for you, but you'll be able to manually re-import the updated content. But in the near future, in version 2, we'll definitely have exactly what you're referring to, where we detect changes and then let you make the decision whether or not you want to include those changes or not on your personal website.
There you go. You got to get that one added to the product backlog. That's for
Absolutely. Sure. It's probably one of those common requests we get.
Well, I can tell you, like I said, you've done a remarkable job just since you've launched it and adding new features. Again, so much so that I probably will go back and redo my video just to try to keep up. But if you're going to make rapid changes all the time, I can't be updating my video every month. I'm just going to say that now.
Absolutely. I don't expect you to. And I liked your video. You did a great job, by the way. I'll keep you in the loop, though. I'll keep you in the loop to save you some time.
Yeah, there you go. I'd appreciate that.
No problem.
Now, brandedme is you do have 2 levels of pricing. Mm-hmm. One level is completely free. Mm-hmm. All you need is a LinkedIn profile. I think you even give an option to go and actually set up a LinkedIn profile as a part of it. And one of the things I like is that I can log in with my LinkedIn profile, and I don't have to go create a separate username and a separate password. So I enjoyed that. I just like being able to click and log in. That makes it easy.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do, is make it really easy for everyone and this quick, seamless process.
For the listeners that are out there, when you go, if you click the button that says LinkedIn and you let it import all of your data over, you can literally hit publish, which is going to be the button in the bottom left-hand corner, and your website's done. I mean, literally within probably a minute, maybe even under a minute, you have your own website.
Yeah.
You can take a little bit longer than that if you want to customize it more, but literally under a minute, you can have a website using the brandedme platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you really wanted to rush it, you could probably get it done in 20 or 30 seconds.
It happens fast. It's very impressive how quickly it pulls everything over and loads.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So now your next level is the pro level. And so you can, users can upgrade to the pro level for $9 a month, mm-hmm. Or $7 a month if they pay annually. Now, can you explain what benefits come with the pro account?
So as of right now, the pro account, there's 2 main differences. One is there's zero trace of brandedme branding. So on the free sites, there's a very small bit of a brandedme watermark call out on the bottom right-hand corner of the sites you could barely see. That's removed on the paid plan. And with the paid plan, you also get the ability to connect your own domain name, which is the big part, right? Like, people want to make these sites their own, host it on their own domain name. And that's the big part. So, over the next, weeks and months, we'll be introducing more features that come with the paid plan. But as of right now, that's the big differentiator.
One of your responses was that 63% from your survey, 63% said that a personal website is more valuable than a resume. And you may have alluded to that before, but do you agree with that as well?
I couldn't agree more. Even I, on a continual basis, am recruiting people to come, work with me. We just hired 2 developers to join our team the last week and a half to boost our team. But, I myself, even before we were building this project, like it stands out. It does make a difference. Trust me, when I'm going through candidates and someone takes the time to create a website, it does catch my eye. And this isn't me just being biased either. So I'm sure, resumes, they're there. They're going to exist for a while, but I can't tell you the last time I seriously looked at one. I look at someone's LinkedIn profile, I looked at their social profiles, and I look at their personal website if they have one.
So, Nick, this is going to be a purely personal question for me because I'm a program manager for software development within the company that I work mm-hmm. for, and I'm curious, how did you go about even beginning to create the brandedme platform? I mean, what were like some of your first steps to get started? How did you even think that this was possible to do?
Getting started is the hardest part, to be completely honest, but you obviously have to have your idea, and then you have to have a team that can execute it, right? No matter how good of a designer you are, or a developer, or marketer, or product manager, it's impossible to build something like this on your own. So, for me, it was about establishing the core team, and I had a few core guys that I had worked with in the past and on previous projects, and we got together and it took, a few weeks to bring on those first developers that were really like our core developers or to build that core team anyhow. And then once you have the team and the nucleus, things kind of, take off and get going. But it definitely takes some time and effort to get there with the right team.
I always find it fascinating. I was just talking to a friend the other day, and the question he asked me is, what kind of people do you admire? And to me, especially as I get older and wiser, I admire people who act, who hustle, who take an idea. They don't just sit around at a coffee table and talk about it for days and months and years, and then someday look back and go, yeah, we probably should have created that. But I admire people who say, ooh, I got an idea, and they go out and they make it happen. And so I'm very impressed that you've been able to do what you've been able to do with the branded.me platform in such a short period of time. I mean, it's really a cool platform. I recommend anybody listening to go check it out.
I really appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you very much. Very kind.
What last question here before we'll do a couple question wrap up. What's your favorite thing about the platform?
The favorite thing for me that makes us unique, other than the conversion or the auto generation of the site, which is cool in itself, the favorite thing for me is you have the ability to change themes on the fly and have all your content transfer from one theme to the next, which is pretty unique. If you look at other website builders and other solutions out there, most of the time you choose a template or theme up front and you start building on that, and you decide 30 minutes or 2 hours later that, I actually want to try a different theme. You're going to start over from scratch and start building again.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I'm a voucher for that.
Yeah. So that's probably my favorite thing about the platform.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it does, I mean, the themes switch quickly too. Again, within 10, 15 seconds, and bam, you've got a whole new look and feel to the site.
Exactly. Yeah. Give us a few more weeks, and that'll be down to a couple seconds changing themes.
I've been paying attention every week. So like I said, maybe I'll wait another 3 weeks and I'll redo my video.
Yeah. I'll give you a heads up on when to redo it. A few weeks would probably be good.
Nick, as we wrap up here, what is the best way for the listeners to get in touch with you or to learn more about branded.me?
The best way, probably reach out to me via my personal website. So nickmacario.com, which is Nick, N-I-C-K, and then Macario, M-A-C-A-R-I-O.me. And I went with the .me domain because it's personalized, and the relationship we have with .me as well. So I'm a big fan of .me domains for personal use. But contact me there, and I'm definitely willing to talk to anybody who has any questions. Okay.
Any final thoughts, words of wisdom, or tips you'd like to pass on to any of the listeners today?
I'd say just check out the platform when you get a chance. It literally all you need is a couple minutes to try it out, and stay tuned for some updates because we have some really cool stuff coming over the next few months.
Okay. All right, Nick, thank you very much for agreeing to come on today. I appreciate your time, and everybody go check out the branded.me platform. It's pretty cool.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
We'll end today's show where we started. If you've ever questioned the need for a website, I hope today's conversation with Nick will finally convince you that this is what you need to do. You see, people are searching for you online, whether you know it or not. And the technology today has advanced to the point where you really have no excuse not to have a personal website. In the survey Nick and I discussed, only 4% of the people who were surveyed have their own website. 4%. So think about that. Having your own website will make you stand out against your competition. And since branded.me is a simple, easy-to-use platform that can have you online in less than a minute, you really have no more excuses. You and I both know you have a minute to spare. So push pause on the remote, head on over to branded.me, and create your personal website today. Nick, thank you once again for being on the show. I wish you and your team at branded.me the best of luck with the platform and your future product rollouts. And as usual, I'll have all the links set up for you in the show notes over at ryanroten.com/Nick. Hopefully by now you realize the importance of having a great online profile. If you don't know what makes a good online profile, or you're looking for something to validate your growing online brand, stay tuned and listen to the outro music so you can learn what other people already know. Their online brand assessment score. After you take the online brand assessment, send me a tweet at Ryan Roten and let me know your score. And as always, until next time, I've been Ryan, and I'm out. Hey folks, if you want to leverage your personal brand and become known in your field, you first need to become visible. To find out how visible you are, you need to take my 100% free online branding assessment. So head on over to ryanroten.com, click the orange start button to learn how visible you are today.